Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast in this reality. The show designed to challenge everything we've been taught. If you've ever felt there had to be more to life, more to existence, then you're listening to the right podcast. Time to open your mind and dive in. This is the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast.
And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mental Mastery Alliance. We are almost at the end of July. How did we get here so fast? Especially in the northern countries. It's going to be cold again soon. I don't want to talk about it, but apparently I'm talking about it. What the hell is going on? I think today is going to be a fun day. I think today I want to talk a little bit about addiction. It's something that's circling around in the ethos. I'm seeing it in television. I'm seeing it in social circles. I'm seeing it rear its ugly head one more time. It's fascinating to me that the more we spend time growing and becoming who we want to be, the more we feel a pull to something else. And this isn't for everybody, this episode, but addiction affects everyone. And that's huge. So some people I know are addicted. Some people I know, quote unquote, live with addiction. Some people are not addicted at all to anything except their cell phone, but have family members who are. I myself was addicted. Do I want to say I was an addict? I'm going to say I was. I'm going to say I have addict tendencies. And this is something that somebody brought up to me. I actually want to have him on the show, but until I do, I won't mention his name. I want him on the show, and I want to talk about this. He works with addiction recovery. I've mentioned it before, but we're definitely gonna do. We're doing it. We're getting this on here. And we took two totally different paths. He went the AANA route, and I went the anti-that. I went the esoteric. I went inward. He still works in the community on a regular basis. It's his full-time job. So he's an amazing story. He's an amazing guy. I love him to pieces. However, that is not this. This is, I guess, my interpretation, my comprehension, my understanding where I am, where I think I can help, or at least where I can just simply share my opine. And again, this isn't for everybody. Like I said, this is, there's so many people going through so many things that with a little bit of new information can change it, because I firmly believe that you're in complete control of the entirety of your outcome. I firmly believe that you're in complete control of all of it. You're in control of the addiction, and the addiction at the time when it's at its worst is when it's teaching you the most. And it sounds crazy and chaotic, and we lose people to addiction all the time. So it's a touchy subject. I understand that, and I'm not trying to make light of any of it. I can only talk about my experience with it, and hopefully a piece of this may merge with somebody, because again, every single person that's in the throes of addiction doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want to deal with it, doesn't want to face it, doesn't want to admit it, none of it. That's one of the dirtiest tricks of addiction, is the games you play with yourself. So one of the hugest points to me is the story that we're sold. Addiction is, to me, it was filling a void. I wanted to drink my pain away, my sorrows, because I feel I'm broken, whatever it is. But the truth is, you're not broken. You've been convinced that you are. And that's huge. That's something that you can only see on the other side. Because there are people out there that are living their lives completely normal, that have never even considered that they might be broken. The deepest thinkers, the hardest pushers are the ones who are the most brutal on themselves. And most addicts say shit to themselves that they wouldn't even say to their own worst enemy. Like, they're so hard on themselves. Addiction is often not about the substance. It's about the identity. Society reinforces the label that you're not an addict, or sorry, you are an addict. becomes the script. So if you see people being accused of being an addict, or this person drinks that, or this, whatever it is, and you find yourself associating with or relating to relating to a television show, a music video, something like that, or a message along the way, everything's subliminal. To me, it's just, what if addiction isn't something you have, rather something you believe? This was the biggest shift for me. One of the most profound shifts for me was, you hear all these stories about ancestral addiction. My mom was an alcoholic. My grandmother was an alcoholic. And you think, I have an addiction. I have this. I have that. I'm screwed. And there are other people who just waltz into addiction, being like, "Oh, my whole family's fine, but I'm going to start drinking." I don't see it as anything other than perception, just like the entirety of everything. To anyone seeing, reading, hearing this at all, you're in control of your perception. You understand and see and formulate ideas based on information. And you tell yourself a story and you stick to that story and you believe it to be absolute fact. This was the real grab. So when you're in the throes of it, you get deeper and deeper. Every single day you wake up, you're like, I need the drink, I need the pill, I need the this, I need the that. But you don't. And it's almost impossible to quit while you're on the inside. It's like, don't try to quit drinking while you're drunk. Don't try to awaken while medicated. There's way more addictions than just drinking. There's heavier, crazier shit that goes on inside your body and your brain. And you feel it's the void you're attempting to fulfill. And what I mean by that is, if you say to yourself, okay, I think I want to quit, give yourself a couple of days. In other words, don't drink for a few days and start to shake it off, start to see it. Again, I'm not giving any pointers, I'm not giving anything. I'm just merely suggesting that when you have alcohol running through your brains or your brains, it's hard to say I'm not going to have a drink. But if you actively state, I'm not going to have a drink for a couple of days to see how I feel, great. There are a lot of people out there that'll say, well, without alcohol, I get the shakes, I get this, I get that. Understood. This is the same process as medication. There are certain, we're so heavily beaten down by the system that we currently live in, the third dimensional system, that certain medical medications we need. I mean, you hear people talk about a holistic lifestyle and they want to go this way and go that way. But we have been so beaten up by the Western food, McDonald's and all the foods that we eat, the processed foods that we eat, not just McDonald's, obviously, not singling you out. But I mean, I laughed my ass off. I saw this meme. Somebody's talking about how this is how you eat McDonald's today, blah, blah, blah. They just some strange video. And inside the caption was, who the hell's eating McDonald's in 2025? And I love that humanity's waking up. I love that we're seeing that. But yes, we are so abused from all of the foods that we've eaten that we've been taught to believe are okay. Like the cereal, there's industrial strength floor cleaner in Cheerios, and nobody bats an eye. Kennedy's doing all kinds of stuff right now, showing people that there's poison in the food. Now, again, I don't believe that he's a savior or anything like that, but I do believe that this is one of those things where you witness a story being told and you have a decision to make. There are proofs and truths everywhere. It's up to you to decide how you're going to interact with it. And I don't want to bore the people who aren't addicted to anything. I'm just simply sharing a mindset and a piece of where I was and what I'm seeing as well. And I know for sure that inside the loop, you cannot see the loop. So as much as you think to yourself, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, I've got a problem, I don't have a problem, you're locked into thinking through the fog, which means you're never actually going to get the result that you're looking for. You're not, you don't have the mathematical numbers and equations to do it from inside. So whatever it is, whatever your substance is, say to yourself, I'm not doing it today. And then go one day. Say to yourself, I'm not doing it tomorrow. This is even cigarettes. Like there's this whole study on nicotine and all this other stuff The majority of the addiction is mental. I know, I quit smoking. It was the wildest thing in the world. I smoked for years and years and years. And not just like, oh, I just quit because it was easy. I told myself a story. I removed them for a couple of days. Like it's cigarettes is a great example of this because it's absolutely absurd that you now in today's day and age, you walk out and you spend $20 on a pack of cigarettes only to kill yourself slowly and to have no breath while you're doing it and to be just no energy and just thinking it's normal. You're just slowly stuck in this anchor. But if you don't have a cigarette for one day, then things change. If you go 2 days, things change. It's only a couple of days. It's only a couple of days that you're like, oh, I'm actively doing this and I'm doing my best to remove myself from this. And you're going to have these arguments with yourself back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But simply don't put the effort in to go and get more. It sounds complicated. It is complicated, but you are addicted to understand what it's like to overcome addiction. In my take, this is where I was. So clarity comes from the outside. The substance itself clouds the signal, clouds your soul's signal, prevents you from seeing things. Now, granted, remember, not everything is meant to be seen and not everybody is meant to see. So when you decide that you're going to make your move, understand that those around you that are still in the loop, if they're not meant to get out, then they're meant to show you how far you've come. It is imperative that you watch yourself grow. It is fantastic to witness your mindset and the arguments that you have with you, because at the same time, you're arguing with you to have a drink, to have the cigarette, to do the drug. So somebody in there is fighting, and somebody in there is stepping, and somebody in there is watching. And this is all going on inside your own head. True transformation happens in sobriety of the mind. And when you can say to yourself, I want to have that cigarette, you're going to go have that cigarette. And you can say to yourself, I do not want to have that cigarette, that drink, that drug. Well, now you're stepping into self, because it's self that's losing to ego, theoretically. An interesting thought, too, is the void that we're all trying to fill, that thing that we're all trying to fill inside through any addiction. It was never empty. It was waiting for you. We don't crave things. We crave the feeling the things give us for a moment. Foods, drugs, scrolling, shopping, all distractions from the self. The soul doesn't seek to be filled. It seeks to be remembered. So the void isn't lack. The void is expressed wholeness. And as you do these things, you find out who and what you are and what you're capable of and what you're meant to be. It's fascinating when you truly grasp it. So you take a couple of days, you step aside from what you're doing. You step aside from your addiction, from your association with your addiction, from your association with who you think you are, from who you think the addiction makes you. You step aside from this. Give yourself 2 days and see how different the story is that you tell yourself. You come clear, you come clean, you see things differently. The cell phones. I'm getting messages galore. We get this thing that we're just so slowly inundated. And this goes for everyone across the board listening to this show right now. If you don't know what an addiction is, try going a full day without touching your cell phone. And everyone will say, well, I can't. I've got emails. I got this. I got that. In what world were we fucking so heavily connected to absolutely everything that we needed this? This was the worst trap we ever got. This cellular telephone. Trash. It is a cell. We're locked into the cell. It isn't reality. It isn't the real world. It is whatever the algorithm wants to display to you as. And the real world goes on around you while you sit in your cubicle staring at your phone. Wild. But this is the addiction. Some say I'm not addicted. Some say I'm not this, I'm not that. Well, I don't do drugs, so I'm not a terrible person. I don't do that. All of these connotations that we put on all this stuff, all of these stories that we tell ourselves, they all came from somewhere. And most of the time now, they're coming from the phone. So who knows? Who knows where we're being influenced? But once you are aware that you're being influenced, you see it coming from absolutely everywhere. It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. The real rub is you were whole the whole time. The healing isn't the fight. It's in remembering. The industry profits when you forget who you are. Think about that. Think about how many companies would go out of business if every single woman wasn't, I shouldn't even say woman, I should say anyone. If every person on the planet woke up tomorrow completely in love with themselves, how many companies do you think would go out of business? Now, people will say, well, follow the money. The money's where it's going, right? But I don't. I don't care about the money. The money is also third dimensional. It's not about the money. Money is an addiction as well. It's just another layer. It's finding out who you are. There are so many people right now that value their self on the job they have. Without this job, I am nothing. I am nobody. That is incorrect. Losing the job allows you to determine who you are and who you want to be moving forward. What you're going to create, what you're going to do, how you're going to save the day. Don't rely on other people. Allow other people to assist you. Allow yourself to create what you need to create in this vein, in this sense. But always bet on you. The industry profits when you're not enough. All industries profit when you're not enough. You don't need to fight the addiction. You need to release the identity. This is the thing. You're no longer an addict if you let go. You just let it go. And every story on top of that, somebody put inside your head. Someone somewhere, some matrix, some algorithm put inside your head that you can't do it, that it's difficult, that you're going to have physical manifestations, that everything is terrible and now, there are so many varying levels of addiction. There are so many varying levels of connection to self, to bond, to everything like that. And every last one of those is an identity that you have accepted and embraced. Every layer. And I'm talking as somebody who's lived through chaos. I don't need to go through my own excursions. They're well documented, and I could do an entire other episode on me and my journey. I'm trying to speak on an esoteric bond that we have with a commitment to ourselves in the form of addiction. Addiction dies in the light of truth. You were never not okay. Understanding that and comprehending that and realizing that the lie that you were less than came from somewhere as well. And understand that you can do anything. And the proof in that pudding is that you did, quote unquote, the addiction. You talked yourself into it. You became one with this, and you chose to do that. And some will say, I didn't choose this. Well, we did. And you can even go deeper and say you chose this on a soul contract before you got here, so you knew what it took to overcome this burden. You knew what it took to overcome who you were being, to become somebody, to become yourself. Alan Watts once said, you're not born into this world, you're born out of this world. And that to me is more true now than it's ever been, than I've ever heard. It is inside this world, the trials and tribulations, the pains, the ups and the downs, that you find out who you are. And you find out what you're made of. And you find out what you can truly accomplish. This is for you. This is for you guys who need to hear this right now. And for those of you who don't need to hear this, I think you know someone who does. Feel free to share this episode with them, because this is a love and light and everything airy version of the harsh truth. When you realize you were never broken, there's nothing left to fix. A deep realization closes the loop. The loop ends the moment you stop running from yourself. You can allow that to be anything you want it to be. But for me, I said to myself one day, hey, I'm done. I'm done feeling this way. I'm done being out of breath. I'm done drinking. I'm done all of this stuff. I'm done. I'm done with my cell phone. I'm done with it running my life and ruining my life. I'm done with how I operate. I'm done with all of the things about me that I am not happy with. I'm done. It is time to be exhausted. It is time to be tough. It is time to step up. It is time to push myself. It is time to move. And the greatest change of all comes primarily when the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of growth. And when you are stuck being the same thing for so long and you get absolutely fed up with it, you can change. And you know what else you can do before all that happens? Is change. You can take every ounce of everything you don't like and turn it into something great. Ladies, gentlemen, this was a personal episode for me. I wanted to get this off my chest. I wanted to talk about addiction, and I wanted to add an esoteric flair to it. I do not believe the story that they tell us. I choose not to believe that we are victims of our own mind, even though we can certainly convince ourselves that we are victims of our own mind. And the only way to do that is with your mind. Be very careful of the stories you tell yourself. Be very specific of the way you talk to yourself. Have an open mind, an open heart, an open spirit. Know that you're loved. And know that you're whole. And understand that every single thing that you've ever wanted is on the other side, figuring out how to do it. And figuring out how to do it is one of the greatest aspects of this experience, this human experience. I'm happy that here at episode 340, I'm not even sure where we are at this moment in time, but almost 350 episodes. I'm happy that you guys are with us through all the ups and downs, through all the screw ups on the show, through all the changes, through all the having to find the new episodes, to having to find all this, and to growing with us from absolute conspiracy to understanding that that's also just a thing. I'm happy. And I want you all to be happy too. Guys, if you're having an issue with addiction, shoot me an email, Adam@thementalmastery.alliance. If you want to talk one-on-one, shoot me an email. If you need it, let me know. I will talk to you. But to everyone who knows someone who's fighting this, have patience. And to everyone who's fighting this, be selective with how you talk to yourself. Understand, you got this. We're here to help if you need us. Ladies and gentlemen, in the infamous words of Red Green, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.